Harper Audio presents Sing to Me, my story of making music, finding magic, and searching for who's next, by L.A. Reid. Read by Dion Graham. Prologue. The audition. I'd never auditioned a child before. My partner Kenny Babyface Edmonds and I had written and produced records with a couple of boy groups, but working with kids wasn't something I'd envisioned doing when we started our own record company. I vaguely figured I would listen to a song or two and tell the kid to come back in a few years, but the minute this 14-year-old boy walked into my office that afternoon in 1993, I could tell that there was nothing that felt remotely childlike about Usher Raymond IV. These were high times at LaFace Records, the label I had started with Babyface in Atlanta 4 years earlier. The company was beginning to make a name for itself. We had an album about to be released by an unknown singer named Toni Braxton that would become a multi-platinum smash. The label had its first multi-million seller, the soundtrack to the Eddie Murphy movie Boomerang, and we had sold millions of records with another previously unknown group called TLC. Babyface had become a star in his own right after releasing 2 stellar solo albums and writing dozens of big-hit songs with me as his regular producing partner. On the heels of all this, we had recently relocated the LaFace office from Norcross to a bright, beautiful space we'd built out on the 15th floor of the Capital City Plaza building in Buckhead. We built a conference room in the 10,000-square-foot office to be shaped like a piano, which made a curved wall in the lobby. Nobody ever mentioned that particular design feature, so we probably spent a lot of money for something that went largely unnoticed. The staff was growing as our operation expanded behind our 2 multi-million sellers. The sleek, modern office lent the label an air of prosperity that I hoped would define us in the years to come. But with all the success had come some serious adversity. Our top-selling group, TLC, was unhappy about money, and that was causing problems between me and my wife, Pebbles, who also happened to be the manager of the group. And, after scaling the heights of the music business together, from late nights at Chitlin Circuit dives in the Midwest to the top of the charts, my partner Babyface and I were inexplicably drifting apart. What made the growing distance between me and Kenny even more difficult was that when LaFace started, it was a small operation, just a handful of close friends who moved out from Los Angeles together. In the early days, LaFace was a family affair. Me, Kenny, our office manager, Charles, my wife, Pebbles, Kenny's brother-in-law, Derek Ladd, Kenny's childhood friend, Daryl Simmons, my childhood friend, K.O. My younger brother, Bryant, moved from Cincinnati, where we grew up, to Atlanta and came to work for us. Bryant and I had always had similar tastes in clothes and style. We shared music a lot when we were growing up. His world revolved around music, fashion, and sports. He was funny and charming and knew what he was about. Once we signed Toni Braxton, we assigned her to him, and he became the keeper of all things Toni. Brian also scouted talent, and it was through him that I first heard the name Usher. My brother brought several writers and producers to the label. He caught Usher at a local talent show. He'd gone to check out another act on the program, and called me from the show to tell me about him. I wasn't especially enthusiastic, but Brian insisted that the kid was something I needed to see. Though I hadn't been running a label for long, finding talent had become a specialty of mine. Our hit records so far had come from artists who had never made a record before I auditioned them. You never knew what to look for at an audition. Everyone is different, special in their own ways. You have to remain receptive, open, but without losing your critical and analytical side. It is a tricky combination of balancing intelligence and intuition and being able to tell the difference between having a vision and a hallucination. I auditioned talent in my office 3 or 4 times a week, part of my regular workday. There was a corridor that led to the side-by-side twin offices occupied by Kenny and me. My office was a big, fluffy, all-white space with furniture from Christ and huge speakers powered by my Macintosh amplifier. Posters of our artists hung on the walls. People would come in and out to ask questions, to show me artwork, to get a moment of my attention. I always had an open-door policy, and people knew they could walk in any time. It was around...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?